Hey everybody, it's Lindsay or Miss Houseman, whichever you want to call me. And I have copies of Tuck Everlasting for friends in the Noonan Peachtree City area, Fayette County, Coweta County area that want to join us. And I do have some vocabulary that I think kids, I look really gross, that I think kids need to know. And I will do a screen share and show you what the words are. Okay, so I will put this PowerPoint on the Facebook group, and please tell your children, or if your kids are watching this now, it is totally okay if when you're reading, you do not understand every single word in every single sentence. That's very important. I feel like a lot of times kids get bogged down and they get disappointed that they don't understand every word. It's okay. But the more you know, the more you get out of the story. And Natalie Babbitt is famous for completely drenching her sentences with figurative language. So instead of just saying the cows walked around the wood, and the wood is the forest of the story, she would say meander, aimlessly drifting like a feather in the wind, instead of just saying the cows walked around the woods. So keep that in mind as you start to try to get into it. The book itself might read heavier than your normal children's book, but once you get familiar and get used to how she writes, you'll understand and you'll get it. And there are three things that are happening at the same time. The first thing is that Ma Tuck is getting on her horse to go meet her sons at the edge of the wood, that she does every 10 years. At the same time, the main character, Winnie Foster, is stepping out of her house thinking about running away. And at the same time, the third thing that happens is a man in a yellow suit comes up to the Foster gate and he starts snooping around asking for some people. So like I said, I'm going to put these vocab words on the Facebook page, and I'll try to get rid of this weird word that's off to the side here. One thing also that kids might want to know is the different types of characters and types of conflict: flat, round, static, dynamic character. And you can look that up, or I can explain it more in detail later. I had my students have a packet and they would answer questions on paper. But since we're all doing virtual learning and we have the internet, you can have your kids answer their questions on a Google Docs, and they're like reader response reflections and stuff on a Google Doc at the end of each chapter. Is a great way to check for understanding, especially if parents, if you're reading it along with them. The prologue is the beginning of the book. It's before the chapter right here. And then there is an epilogue, and that is the last, after the last chapter. That's the end of the book there. The chapters are really short and they flow really nicely together. So I was thinking about, and you can reply in the comments, I love reading out loud. Emmy and I read out loud the first 5 chapters last night. If that is something you are interested in, I can totally record myself reading out the book. You can also find it on Audible. The one thing about the Audible narrator, if I recall when I taught this in 7th grade a few years back, it's slower, but you can change the speed of the narrator on Audible. So, but if you're interested, I don't mind. I got tons of time because I'm avoiding a grad school project I should be doing right now. So I'm going to put this PowerPoint on there, and it's got cool questions and vocabulary and stuff that goes through how to teach this book. And if you want a book from me, I can meet you somewhere and hook you up. So we will get started on this book study very soon. And that's all I got.